Zoe. Okay, well, this week, of course, is really important because there'll be a National Skills Summit being held in Canberra, and I'm looking forward to representing Queensland. I'll be attending a National Cabinet meeting with the Prime Minister in Sydney on Wednesday, and then the Skills Summit on Thursday and Friday. This is really important to our state, and that's why today we've announced an extension of our free TAFE and apprenticeships till June next year. Already 56,000 people under the age of 25 have benefited from this project. And we want to make sure that it continues because we want our young people to get the skills they need for the vacancies in the sectors at the moment. Courses will include areas such as early childhood, health services, hospitality, dental, allied health, agriculture, carpentry and engineering, just to name a few. And there are a lot of opportunities in Queensland. So I'm looking forward to representing the state down at the National Skills Summit, and our free TAFE and apprenticeships is a good thing for our young people, and hopefully some other states might adopt these measures as well. I'll hand over to Di Farmer, our Skills Minister. Thanks, Di.
Thanks, Premier. We know that labour shortages is a critical issue across every sector and every single region. And there is not one single solution to address this, but making sure our people have the skills they need to get those jobs is a really critical part of it. It's why we invest $1.2 billion every year in Queensland into skills and training. Our free TAFE for under 25s has meant 56,000 people are trained and ready to go into employment. And we know, because of our investment in recent years, we've seen an 85% increase in the number of people starting traineeships and apprenticeships. That is a pipeline into the jobs of the future. And that's what we're focused on. Tomorrow we'll be announcing our workforce strategy that will contain a range of other initiatives, but providing those skills is a critical factor. I'll just hand over to Minister Grace.
Yeah. As Education Minister, we have a very proud record of vocational education and training in our schools. In fact, I think we account for over 50% of all the vet and schools here in Queensland. So extending free TAFE is a great signal to those students. They will be the future retail workers, the future childcare workers, the future trade workers, and it's a great message that if you are at school at the moment doing vocational education training in our schools, you can attend TAFE after you leave free, so you can get the skills that is needed out there in many industries, as that was outlined by the Premier. This is great news for students in schools. They will be able to attend these TAFE courses free of charge, and I'd like to see the next childcare workers, the next carpenters, electricians, all of those areas that we are needing skills and training in, and free TAFE is a great message to students in our schools, and we have many of them who obviously study for ATAR to go to uni, but just as important, study and do vet in schools to get a trade, to get an education, to get those skills so they can get the jobs out there that are much in need. So this is great news, and I very much welcome it for the students in our schools right throughout Queensland.
Happy to take some questions.
Premier, when was Cabinet cancelled last week, and when were ministers informed of that?
The business of government continued. We had 5 cabinet subcommittees that met last week. These are important subcommittees. They are cabinet committees. And Stephen Miles was the acting Premier. He convened the very important Infrastructure Cabinet Committee. When I came back, I had the CBRC meeting, the Cabinet Budget Review Committee meeting, also too our Future Economy meeting. And very importantly, we actually had a Queensland Disaster Management Committee, of which we did scenario planning in the event that there was ever a foot and mouth outbreak in Queensland. So making sure that all of our agencies are prepared.
So
when was Cabinet actually cancelled though? What was the date?
The previous week.
What date? When was it?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Oh, it
no,
does matter.
It's completely irrelevant.
How is it irrelevant?
Will you tell me why it's relevant?
It's relevant because if you cancel Cabinet when you're away in the Whitsunday, it's relevant.
No, this happens normally. I have postponed meetings before. We had 5 cabinet subcommittees.
But when was Cabinet actually cancelled?
This
When
is,
were
this
Cabinet
is
ministers?
completely not relevant.
Premier,
There were 5 cabinet subcommittees. They met for in total about 7 or 8 hours during the week. The business of government continued.
So when was
How much
Stephen Miles
notice?
told he was acting Premier?
Oh, I can't remember. I discussed it with him ages ago.
Premier, though, it is important. Cabinet's an important.
We had
meeting.
5 cabinet
much-
subcommittees.
how much
Now, let me say it
notice?
again.
How
We
much
had
notice
5
did ministers
cabinet subcommittees.
How much notice?
They all
was-
met.
How much notice did they get? Days?
Well, cabinet can move from any time to any time. I am the chair of the cabinet committee.
The fact that you can't answer the question, though, suggests that it could have been a last-minute decision.
It was
because you're
not a
up on holidays.
last-minute decision.
Well, when was it then?
It was not a last-minute decision.
When was it? It's a simple question.
No, it was during the previous week. Okay?
Was it before you went away, though, Premier?
Yes, of course.
Why could-
Absolutely.
Why couldn't the Deputy Premier chair that cabinet on that Monday?
Well, because he had an infrastructure cabinet committee.
Well, the Deputy Premier...
You know,
every
infrastructure
time-
is really important. So, you know, education, our hospitals, our schools, expansions to our TAFEs, these are really important matters. The business of government continued. He was acting Premier, he chaired the Infrastructure Cabinet Committee meeting. There was also the Youth Justice Cabinet Committee.
Scott
These
Morrison
are
had-
cabinet committees. These are just as important as cabinet meetings.
Scott Morrison had secret ministries. Did we have a secret Premier? Because no one knew about it, it seems.
Yes, they did. It was gazetted.
But not until after the fact.
It was gazetted.
That was after you were back.
It was gazetted. The paperwork was all done.
So, Premier, just to be clear, you
Yes.
notified ministers before you left.
Yes, the cabinet secretariat would have done that. Yes.
Okay. And, but you
This is
won't-
irrelevant. Let me make it very clear. I think I understand how cabinet
But it
works
is
in this
important
state.
because the opposition's
I'm
attacking
happy to
both
tell
of
you
these.
about how cabinet works in this state. We have cabinet meetings and we have very important cabinet subcommittees. These cabinet subcommittees met during the course of the week. 5 of them met. It was a very, very busy week of
But were
government.
they scheduled because the
No.
cabinet meeting on Monday wasn't going ahead? Because it was
These are
cancelled?
very important cabinet committees, and the Deputy Premier and I discussed the need to have these cabinet committees meeting.
Mark
Was
Bailey was
that
just here
after-
and said that his was only cancelled on the Monday morning. So why was it only cancelled on the Monday morning?
It wasn't just the Monday morning.
That's what he just said.
Well, that's not my understanding.
So, Premier, were the committees organised because you cancelled cabinet?
No.
Okay. But you cancelled cabinet prior to going away? That's
Yes.
And how much notice did you give? Why can't we
Well,
get
the
a
Cabinet
date?
Secretariat can give you that answer, okay?
So it was during that week, though, so before the
Correct.
Friday?
Correct.
And was it cancelled because of your leave, correct?
I'm the chair of Cabinet, and I'm sorry I took 3 days leave. I apologise to the people of Queensland that during a pandemic for over 2.5 years, I've had very little leave. In fact, I was officially opening the event, and to cover off myself from any criticism, I put in a leave application for 3 days, even though I was working. I have officially opened this event in the past with Minister Kate Jones, and not one person has raised an issue with it.
What do you say to the opposition claiming that you're a checked-out Premier?
Well, I have not seen any policies from them. If this is all they can come up with, well, they are not fit to govern Queensland or to be in opposition.
Premier, 60 Minutes
Yep.
have alleged an illegal junket operation operating at Townsville's The Bill Casino. Will your government broaden the Goddison inquiry or indeed set up a separate
I haven't
line
heard
inquiry?
about that. I'm happy to look into that for you.
Premier, would the government consider paying for the HECS debts of nursing and midwife students?
Look, I've heard that recommended down in Victoria by Daniel Andrews. Look, I'll be catching up with him. I'll be having a chat with him this week. But let me make it very clear. It is very, very important that we have free TAFE for under 25-year-olds, linking them with the industries that they need for the future.
Do you think it could be a good idea for Queensland?
I'll have a look at it. Okay?
On another matter, Premier, there are calls for a new inquiry into how police handled the Brett Fort murder and on a wider scale of Queensland's police culture. Is that something you'd support?
There's already an inquiry that's happening at the moment. I'm happy to talk to the Police Minister about that.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.